5D Mystery School.
Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get straight into it. So I want to preface this video by saying I believe that there is a strong connection between quantum entanglement and wormholes. And quickly, a wormhole is just a tunnel, if you will, that is the connection between two different black holes. On one side of the wormhole, let's say you have our reality, and on the other side of the wormhole, you have a parallel reality. But keep that in mind as I go through this video. Okay, so I experienced this black and white tunnel during my DMT, dimethyltryptamine experience that felt like home. It felt like I've been to this place millions of times before, and at the time that it was happening, the only thing that was on my mind was I couldn't say goodbye to my current, Earth mom, my sisters, my girlfriend at the time. I just remember like I didn't get a chance to connect with these souls before I left. But I do remember just like falling in this void in what looks like just a black and white spinning hole. And I feel like this time tunnel is the entrance and exit that our souls take to enter into the fetus around like 4 months. I'm referencing The Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. Or when our souls leave this body, when we have our life review, we leave this body and then we take this time tunnel back to the astral realm. Now, I firmly believe that they show us this time tunnel in our reality. You know how they like to hide things in plain sight. When I say they, I'm referring to the elusive controllers. Now, this tunnel behind this man from the Twilight Zone is the closest representation of what I recall the time tunnel to look like. And there's a show. It's called Time Tunnel. Two scientists with a secret time travel project find themselves trapped in the time stream and appearing in notable periods of time. And again, that tunnel is the time tunnel. That's the soul tunnel. That's the wormhole that our souls travel to enter into this life and to exit this life. Now, just as we have a magnetic North Pole in our actual reality, Mount Meru, we have our Mount Meru right here, our crown chakra. And when I took the DMT, the only thing that I remember is the reaction time, the activation time was immediate. So when I was falling back into this alternate reality, I just remember my crown chakra popping and my soul leaving my physical body and entering into that time tunnel. And I looked at several different DMT experiences and ayahuasca experiences, and there are other people who also experience this wormhole. And the best way I can describe the differences of time would be in a dream. Okay, so just like in a dream, the cyclical motion force that we know as time seems to slow down, right? So let's say you can be having a dream for one night, and in that dream, you can experience multiple days. Let's say like you get married, you have children, and then you rise up and you realize that you've only been sleeping for like 3 hours. Well, the same goes for when you experience the raw form of dimethyltryptamine. Now, here's the kicker. Your pineal gland secretes dimethyltryptamine throughout the day, a slow drip, so you can experience this reality. Now, if that pineal gland was to increase that dimethyltryptamine drip by just a small amount, you would start to notice comparisons that you see while you're dreaming. So, therefore, I would connect how we perceive time to be directly connected to dimethyltryptamine. And since dimethyltryptamine is related to the pineal gland, and the pineal gland releases melatonin when the sun leaves your area, that also means that the cerebrospinal fluid, when it reaches your pineal gland, you start to experience that I am feeling. This is how you raise your frequency and leave this reality by the Christ consciousness fluid. This is why the pineal gland is known as the cave of Brahma, the crystal palace, right? The light of the world, where Christ is born again. And it's also the door you need to knock on that will be open for your soul to leave this body. And it happens at your crown chakra. Now, as above, so below. In our reality, if this is how your soul leaves your body, the magnetic North Pole, the Garden of Eden, is where this time tunnel sits. And that's how you leave this physical realm. Now, since when your soul leaves this physical body, you go to that time tunnel, Is it possible that the astral realm is an extension of this reality, meaning is the astral realm simulated? And if so, that means this reality and the astral realm are both ran by a very sophisticated quantum computer. Now, in another video, I mentioned that when your soul leaves this physical body, your soul's frequency has to match the frequency of heaven gates in order for you to enter heaven, right? It's all radio waves. What this means is that this reality is running on a certain frequency. And if this is ran by a super quantum computer, it runs on an algorithm, which means that if your body doesn't surpass the frequency that it's trapped in, then you will continue to reincarnate in this frequency. Now, when your soul leaves this body, you get that tunnel vision. You go into the tunnel. Now, where does that tunnel lead you? Where do you have this life review? Where's the white light taking you? Okay, so you know that they like to hide things in plain sight. I made a video the other day talking about moonfall and how there's a scene of moonfall where the man's consciousness is uploaded to the moon after he leaves his physical body. So when your soul does leave the physical body, you are energy. And side note, I had a dream the other day that I was energy. I was a color and I was writing down these lines that look like communication lines, and it's still sticking with me. And that dream was like last week. I felt like it has something to do with the reincarnation process. And so going back to the moon, is the moon the place of the astral realm? Is this where our souls go, where we have this experience with choosing the body for the next life, where we meet our soul groups, like the experiences that was spoke of in Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton? And is the tunnel that our souls take to get to the astral realm, is that just a wormhole? Let's say on our side you have the black hole where you can enter the wormhole, and on the other side you have the white hole where reality is not the same. And upon finishing this book, I was just left with this feeling like we keep measuring, Einstein didn't want to accept quantum mechanics, whatever, but we keep measuring quantum mechanics in linear time, where our brains think in linear time. And we could be making a crucial mistake and doing a disservice to the study and the research, where we could just switch it to non-linear time, but we can't fully understand non-linear time because we can only perceive linear time. So anyway, using the Einstein-Rosen bridge, you would just take the wormhole as a shortcut. Let's say you were on a mountain and you wanted to go from one side of the mountain to the other mountain. Instead of making that long journey, you would just take a tunnel through space and time itself. Now, is this actually possible? Well, apparently, NASA found a parallel universe where time runs backwards, just like the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or the EPR, the Einstein-Podok-Rosen bridge. In this time tunnel, a wormhole could be the rainbow bridge that was spoke of in the Nordic mythology. This is how you got to Valhalla. And again, let me mention, side note, if you have not seen this show, Travelers, you're doing yourself a disservice. Also, while you're at it, go check out Contact. This comes from Quantum Magazine. Physicists create a holographic wormhole using a quantum computer. From Popular Mechanics, it's logical that aliens are using black holes as computers. Let's park here and unpack this for a second. Okay, I'm going to enter something here, hoping that you follow me. So, based upon the writings of many different ancient civilizations, our reality came out of a primordial blackness, order out of chaos. So, one could say that it's possible that our reality came from a black hole. And this black hole could be connected to Mount Meru, the Garden of Eden, Hyperborea, and it sits at the middle of our flat earth plane. Now, this black hole could be seen as a doorway to another period of time, which is just the definition of space. And if you were to enter that black hole, it would look like Now, I believe that you can enter into different realities on several different ley line hotspots. These are like miniature black holes, like the Bermuda Triangle, the Great Lakes Triangle, the cave at the Grand Canyon itself, the Alaskan Triangle, and so on. But the main door, the main black hole, the main time tunnel is at Mount Meru, the crown chakra of the earth. Now, this black hole, this doorway, this time tunnel, it creates a quantum entanglement between you and the parallel you, and also this brings in this string theory connection. Let's say you astral project, you leave your physical body. You would notice a silver cord that connects you back to your physical body. Well, there's this same cord that connects you to the other parallel yous. And you guys are separated by radio frequencies connected to your oversoul, but sometimes you do connect to your parallel self, and this is called deja vu. But what this looks like with quantum entanglement means that in this reality, if you come to a fork in the road, you can go right, you can go left, you can go straight. In this reality, you take a left. In a parallel reality, you take a right. In another parallel reality, you go straight. In another parallel reality, you make a U-turn and turn around, and so on. Now, in previous videos, I've been talking about radio waves in relation to our reality and how our reality is pretty much a soul radio. Scientists claim that time slowed down at the edge of a black hole. What time is it at the North Pole? Also, black holes emit radiation. Emit around, and you have time. Now, back to radiation. Okay, so if you haven't paid attention to anything else I said in the entire video, please make sure that this would be your only takeaway. Order out of chaos. It started off as a primordial darkness, and then everything came out of that darkness. Time and everything that we know in this reality was emitted from that darkness, that black doorway. Okay, now let's go back to the idea of black holes being doorways to a parallel universe and the entrance to this reality, to this matrix. As above, so below. When a baby is born, you go through a tunnel, the tunnel. And in the Bible, the woman's is also known as the matrix. Now, another way of saying that everything came out of that primordial darkness would be that our reality as we know it came out of the black hole. Now, black holes emit radiation. Radio. Okay, black holes emit radiation. Let's look at the definition of radiation. Flow of atomic and subatomic particles in waves, such as those that characterize heat waves, light rays, and X-rays. All matter is constantly bombarded with radiation of both types from cosmic and terrestrial sources. This article delineates the properties and behavior of radiation and the matter with which it interacts, and describes how energy is transferred from radiation to its surroundings. Sorry, I just have to read this last part. Considerable attention is devoted to the consequences of such an energy transfer to living matter, including the normal effects on many life processes, photosynthesis in plants, and vision in animals, and the abnormal or injurious effects that result from the exposure of organisms to the unusual types of radiation, and so on. Let me go back in case you didn't catch that. All matter is constantly bombarded with radiation of both types. That means everything that we see comes from this radiation. Radiation is the flow of atomic and subatomic particles in waves. Our entire reality is particles and subatomic particles and waves at play. And it all comes from the black hole, or the time tunnel, the wormhole that our soul uses to enter and exit. The same tunnel your soul uses through your pineal gland. So just to reiterate, I took DMT. I experienced this time tunnel, the time tunnel that felt very familiar to my soul. So in conclusion, when I took DMT, my soul left my body through my pineal gland, and then I experienced this time tunnel. When people have near-death experiences, NDEs, they report seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, is this time tunnel a wormhole that takes your soul when it leaves your physical body, which is in the form of energy, that takes energy to the other side into a parallel reality, and one of those parallel realities we know as the astral realm. In the astral realm, the astral plane is a plane of existence that you can visit with your consciousness. The consciousness is the vehicle that your soul drives. Let's just say your consciousness is the settings. When your soul comes back into another body, your settings are then applied to that new body. Your karma is then applied to the new body, which is why you experience that trauma in your childhood, and then the rest of your life is just trying to grow from that trauma so you can experience soul evolution, so that your body can raise its frequency, so that you can surpass the frequency of this plane, so that you won't have to reincarnate into this world. Now let me insert in something else before I leave you. In the other video I made about this ancient artificial intelligence, you might know it as black goo. Is the black hole a element or a aspect of the black goo, the artificial intelligence computer that runs the simulation, that runs the algorithms? Now, if that's the case, and the sky is a screensaver, does that mean that the moon would be a place of memory, the Akashic records, the RAM of the computer? And this is where our consciousness goes to get programmed for the next life.
What is this? Am I still alive?
We scanned your consciousness. You're part of the moon now.
5D Mystery School.